Okay, we're going to try one more way of doing the glaze on the wood. And now again, we've got the nice moss color from the Vintage Market furniture paint, Vintage Market and Design furniture paint. This is moss. It's been wet sanded, wet distressed, so it's got a natural distressed look to it. And then what I've done to buy myself a little more open time is use the Vintage Market and Design Clear Coat on the wood, on the paint before I do my glazing. And I like to do this if I'm glazing in the middle of summer and it's very hot. Here in New Mexico we have no humidity and the glaze can dry more quickly. It's not necessary, but this is just one of the ways I like to do it. If I think that I've got a bigger piece, it's going to take me longer to get the big areas done, or if I've got a lot of pieces and I want to be able to have them all look nice and even. What I've done is taken a regular little cellulose sponge and cut it up, dipped it in, I've sprayed it with water. Where's my water? I've got a water bottle here, and I've gotten it damp, and there's no drippiness to it, just damp. And I dipped it into the clear coat, the interior clear coat. You can do the exterior too if you're working outside. And I've just worked it into this. So I have a little bit of a satin finish, you can see, but that also has sealed off my paint and my distressed areas, so the glaze is not going to be quite so likely to grab into it, and I can work a little bit more slowly. This is the kind of thing we used to do on walls to buy ourselves some time. So I'm going to put the clear coat aside, and this time I'm going to use the Atelier glaze in the noir, in the black. I love this on top of moss or red or the Santa Fe turquoise. It gives a really nice mellow antique look. And let me just stir this up a little bit. Woohoo! I love this glaze. It's got a really nice consistency to it. It's not too runny, it's not too thick, it doesn't separate. I always stir things just out of habit anyhow, but so what I'm going to do is just dip the brush in just the first ½ inch or so. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did before and work on the sides first and then the middle, and I'm still not going to do too much of it at once because I don't want to get any dry lines, but I just feel a lot more comfortable having clear coat on it and when it's really hot out or you don't have any humidity in the air. Now, just like with the other board that we did, we'd want to let the paint cure for 72 hours before we do this, and then we know that it's not as absorbent for the clear coat or the glaze, and we won't have any issues. So I just go up to an area where I'd have a natural line of demarcation. There we go. Take my paper towel, wipe it off, and I can feel I get a little bit more slipperiness when I use the clear coat. And it depends on the look you want too, because I did it before over here without the clear coat, and it's a little bit more of a heavier glaze look. With the clear coat, it's a lighter look, so you can control it that way too, which is fun. And I'm going to take my nice clean terry cloth damp towel that doesn't have any lint and just go over it. And you can see by doing it this way, I'm getting just a little bit more contrast between the recessed areas and the areas that aren't. And then finally I'm going to take a dry brush and just do some stippling in there. And on the inside. And I can take the brush too, and if I have any areas here I want to make sure I'm not going to have a line when I go to do the next section. Edges are always important when you're glazing. Once more with the rag, and you're good to go. It goes very quick. Okay, so I'm going to do the other side. Whoops, I got a little bit on the top there. So wipe it off real quick and you'll be good to go. There we go. Had too much on my brush that time. And when this dries, I'm going to go back and show you what I like to do with the black a lot, with the brown too, but I like to do what's called smoking, and you just take a little bit more of the glaze after you've put the clear coat over it and go in the dark areas again, and you get a lot of nice contrast. So just wipe this off. Take our wet one. Get rid of my edges there so I don't have a line. And then finally I'm going to take my dry brush, do a little bit of stippling. And one final go over with the wet. Yeah, I think that this just makes it more subtle for those times when you want it to be more subtle. You don't always, though. I've got enough on my brush here that I don't even have to dip in. Just get both the edges. I didn't even do the paper towel on the ends because I don't have that much to go over down there. Kind of quick. And finally my dry brush. And doing that stippling on the edges, just like on the other board, gives you that little bit of darkness. It's kind of a nice antique look. So if you look at old pieces, they tend to just be darker in the recessed areas and in the corners. And then we go for the final big piece in the center here. You'll find after you do this a couple of times, it just becomes second nature and you almost don't have to think about it. It's just really fun. And it makes the waxing with a colored wax or going over with the glaze and your clear coat is the difference between a piece that doesn't look like it was professionally done and one that does. It just gives it that extra layer. And I like to have a little bit of variation in my glaze. You don't want it to be too uniform. This is a finish that's done by human hands, so you want a little bit of that human touch. Yeah, and you don't want to overwork it. You can see every time I put it on, I'm just going over it a couple of times with the wet and the dry end of the brush. I'm not going back and trying to overwork it too much, because that's when you can get into trouble with any glaze. Because if you overwork it and keep dipping your brush and going back into it, once it's already on there, you can have some problems with lifting. That's just the nature of glaze. It's made to be moved around a bit, and it wants to do that, so you don't want to make that happen too much. And I'm going over again and just getting a little bit more contrast on my high areas, and that's it. And here you can just see the very slight subtle difference between having the clear coat and not having the clear coat. If you want more of a rustic look, I would do it without the clear coat, because you can see the glaze actually grabs a little bit more and you get more darkness from it. If you want it more subtle, I like to do it with the clear coat underneath. But either way, try them both. It's a lot of fun.